This episode of the Cellar Door is proudly brought to you by That's Amore Cheese. Visit that'samorecheese.com.au to check out their huge range of gourmet cheeses. And don't forget to follow them on Facebook.
Hello and welcome to Cellar Door. My name is Nicolette. Today we are at the magnificent T'Gallant estate on the Mornington Peninsula. Now these guys, they pioneered Pinot Grigio and Pinot Gris in this region. I'm not sure what the differences are, but I am determined to find out by the end of the episode. I'm also going to get stuck into the most authentic Italian pizza on the Mornington Peninsula. People come from miles to try this stuff. Play your cards right, I'll save you some. So Pinot Gris and Pinot Grigio is not the only thing that happens at T'Gallant.
No, T'Gallant has been innovative over the years, and we've just introduced a Prosecco, beautiful, zesty, fresh, sparkling wine.
Perfect for pizza.
T'Gallant was one of the first to have a Moscato as well. Mm-hmm. Again, Italian varietal. We have a range of Pinot Noir, which is the other variety that the Peninsula does, really, really well. We have other sparklings, and T'Gallant has always tried to do something a little bit different, just to push against the boundaries a bit.
So what do you do here at T'Gallant that puts the kind of T'Gallant stamp or the T'Gallant name on the wine?
T'Gallant was from day one about creating wines which were European, Italian in flavour. They were food-friendly wines, about not too much artefact in the winemaking. The first thing that T'Gallant got right was planting this variety at this cool maritime site, where it expresses itself beautifully. Thereafter, once you've created grapes with beautiful flavour and balance, you treat it lightly. We don't barrel ferment most of the whites here. We let the true expression come out, and you end up with beautiful natural acid, lovely fresh, vibrant wines, and that's the key. The Pinot Grigio styles, and we have a few of those, typically will have beautiful slaty acidity and zesty flavours of lime, citrus,
Now, they
pear.
taste like lime and citrus and pear. You don't put lime, citrus and pear in it.
We don't, but the incredible thing about grapes is they have hundreds and hundreds of flavour compounds in them, and the flavour molecules in a pear are in grapes. So when people say they taste like a pear, it's because it's the same molecule. If people think that wine tastes like roses, it's the same aroma molecule. That's why grapes are incredible. The same variety, when we leave it later, will have almost like ripe pear, or even sometimes almond or marzipan in the really rich. It can become a really multi-layered heady wine, with beautiful viscosity. But everything is going to have beautiful purity of fruit in it. You won't see too much artifact on top of it.
And, Pinot Grigio and Pinot Gris are totally on trend. Why did they become fashionable?
Look, I think that when the founders of T'Gallant introduced this variety, they got onto the wave. At that time, a lot of Australian wine was sort of that rich, oaky, syrupy sort of stuff. But Australia has changed a lot in the last 30 years. And now dining outside, Italian food, wine that doesn't try to force itself over the top of the food, that's what we want. And that's what Pinot Grigio is. It's about structure and freshness. It complements the food. So, it's the right thing at the right time. And hence, the country can't get enough of the stuff.
Obviously, so aside from being by the beach, which is magnificent, What makes the Mornington Peninsula a kind of destination for someone like yourself?
Look, it's. I remember years and years ago, this it was considered a holiday playground, but in fact, it's fantastic viticultural ground as well. It's surrounded by the sea, as you said. It's got beaches down on the lower reaches, which means it never gets cold. We don't get frosts here. That's a moderating influence. But up here on the ridge, we're at 210 metres above sea level, so we have great coolness as well. And to get the most out of delicate, cool climate varieties, you want that. You want them to be cool so that you retain your aromatics, so you retain your acid. So, in fact, it's a cool maritime climate. It's unique in Australia, actually.
So obviously from year to year, the weather changes, the grapes change. How do you deal with that?
That's the great challenge and the great interest of the job. Yeah, no year is the same. We've had really hot years, really dry years. We've had ones where we've been, almost flooded. And what our job is to do is to help the vines through all that. It may mean that we bring our harvest forward by a long way, or we push it back. Sometimes we need to make sure that the vines are in balance. So if they've had a bumpy year in terms of setting fruit, we will take half the crop up, for example, to make sure that we always have the same number of leaves ripening the same number of grapes. In a really hot year, these vines will express differently. They will be more full flavoured. The acid will be lower. They'll be more to drink earlier, perhaps. Whereas in a really cold year, we'll end up with much finer and clearer acid, maybe fresher flavours. Maybe wines which are more austere, but for people who love wine, this is the great interest in it, that you can taste the same bottle year after year and taste the seasons, taste the vintage in the wine.
So how much of winemaking is art and how much of it is science?
That's a good question. I think it's both. It is a science. The viticulture is a science. To get the best out of the grapes, we are measuring scientific metrics, sugar, acidity, and anthocyanins and things like that. Winemaking also is a science, but the magic and the art comes in is when we recognise what we're getting out of the blocks and we unlock that and help the grapes to express, to their best what they've done at that site. And that's where the art comes in.
And that's when you can guarantee it tastes good.
You can guarantee it tastes good in the vineyard, actually, believe it or not. Yeah, much of what you get in the wine is a direct expression of the grape in the vineyard.
Straight off the vine.
Yeah, that's part of my job, is to go and taste the grapes before they're picked and assess what they're going to become. This block out the front, you pick it when it tastes like the wine that you want it to be. It is fresh. It's not hard and it's not bitter, but it has a zesty flavour and fresh acid. We pick that. Then we can leave for another 4 weeks until it becomes richer and riper. And once again, you can taste when the balance comes in and you pick then. And the wine ought to express it.
So, Jamie, as I said before, I've drunk a lot of wine.
Yes, you have.
But I still... And I've done it out of all sorts of shapes and sizes. Cardboard boxes, vacuum seal packs, bottles themselves, not from the vat itself. How do I not be afraid of wine? How do I feel like I can impress my friends at dinner parties?
Look, I think that's what you said, that impress. You don't have to impress anybody. I think for some reason, because we are a relatively young nation in terms of wine consumption and wine production, like my parents.
I've made up for a lot of lost time.
Yes, you have. My parents didn't drink wine, so we came in with some sort of highfalutin notion about it, that it was
elitist.
That it was elitist, exactly, and it's not. If the wine you're drinking is what you want to drink, if it's suiting, a beautiful sunny day and the dish of pasta you've got, then it's all you need to know about it.
So, Jamie, most people are introduced to wine through a box, right? But you came to love wine from backpacking.
That's right. Yeah, in fact, I was a civil engineer, believe it or not. When I finished my degree, I took off, backpacked through Europe, ran out of money, and ended up in what I thought was paradise, Champagne in France.
So here at T'Gallant, you're famous for your Pinot Grigio and your Pinot Gris.
Yep.
What's the difference?
There is no difference. They are the same variety. As we said before, T'Gallant pioneered this variety. And when it's grown in the right place, it has a huge expression of character. In Italy, in Friuli, where it's grown, they pick it early and it makes a crisp, beautiful, zesty wine, fantastic lunchtime wine. In Alsace, in France, it's picked later and it makes a multi-layered, unctuous wine. The French word for grey is Gris. The Italian word is Grigio. That's just different languages for the same thing. But here in Australia, we make both styles and everything in between. So,
Is that because of our
helps.
climate, or?
Well, it is. It's partly that we're not bound by tradition, but also it's an incredibly adaptable variety, grown in all various parts and aspects. It will give different characters. And it just helps the consumer to know whether they're getting a zesty, beautiful, linear, acidic wine, or whether they're getting something more rich. So we make that distinction, Grigio versus Gris.
So before T'Gallant was a winery, what was here?
Back then, 1990, this was apple country. So this was just the hinterland of the peninsula. So this was an orchard with a little house on it.
So
that's where they started.
This soil has always been growing.
Yeah, it's fantastic horticultural soil. Yeah.
Amazing.
That's Amore, here, that's Amore for you.
Giorgio from That's Amore Cheese, welcome to Cellar Door.
Hi George, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So you're going to be walking us through some of your cheeses. We're going to begin with Fior di Latte.
Okay, Fior di Latte I think is the mama of all the mozzarella family in Italy. Mm-hmm. I mean, everyone knows mozzarella in Italy for the Fior di Latte. So the Fior di Latte is just a big bocconcini. A big bocconcini then is perfect for pizza, perfect for caprese salad. Is practically the mozzarella in Italy. If you go in Italy and ask for mozzarella, this is what they give it to you, just big bocconcini.
Beautiful.
It's chaos milk, of course. Otherwise it was called buffalo mozzarella. And beautiful fresh Australian milk, the best you can have, I think, in the world for the nice condition where the cows are living here in Australia, and melting very well. The color is there, the flavor is there. It's a fantastic product.
Mm-hmm. So happy cows, happy cheese, happy pizza.
Happy pizza.
Beautiful. And you've also got here
the Fior di Latte really is also can be changed in shape. Mm-hmm. And in little bocconcini like this is called baby bocconcini, but it's the same cheese. Also it can be in logs, or it can be in bigger bocconcini, different size. Mm-hmm. And just changing the name, it will change it. Change the shape, it will change the name.
And does the change in shape change the flavour?
No, really. It changes more the use you can have too. I mean, baby bocconcini you don't need to cut. You can sprinkle on the pizza like this. Mm-hmm. Or if it's a log, you can cut in different slices. Or yeah.
And so for the Fior di Latte, you could rip it.
Ah, really? In Australia, everyone ripping.
Not an Italian
thing? In Italy, everyone's slicing.
More precise.
Yeah, really funny, yes. First time I was here to a chef and doing a pizza tasting and demonstration, I saw him grab this Fior di Latte and ripping, and I was look like he's ripping me. So slicing always in the Italian culture is more for the mozzarella, but ripping is a good too. I mean,
okay. You've adjusted.
Yeah, adjust myself. You're tearing apart on top of the pizza, perfect.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and have a nice pizza without Fior di Latte.
I will, definitely. Thank you, Giorgio. And now it's back to Nicolette at T'Gallant.
That's Amore for you.
So Marco, you're somewhat of a celebrity amongst the locals of the Mornington Peninsula, is that correct?
Yes.
And it's because of this incredible pizza? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what do we have on offer here?
Yeah, so we have the 4 different pizzas we make at T'Gallant. The 3-1, margherita, salami, and funghi is very traditional. Mm-hmm. This is special, change every month. I have a new special pizza. Depends for vegetarian, absolutely vegetarian, and depends which season is. Summer, winter, spring, for different veg, or just for my different fantasy, depends.
Oh, your different fantasies,
Yeah,
so your
exactly.
produce fantasy, whatever
Yes.
beautiful produce is
Yes, exactly.
available to
Yeah,
you.
depends. In the morning I wake, yes, I will make this, or serious.
You dream of pizza?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that-
It's no good, I know, I didn't, really.
You do your dream and then you realise your dream, this is your palette, your canvas.
Exactly.
So you can actually legitimately eat
Exactly,
your dreams.
yeah. I have maybe just half idea, after a couple of days I have one more idea, get mix, take off one ingredient, put one more, and this is
Amazing. I actually have
crazy,
also...
no, amazing.
No, it's not crazy. I have dreamt about pizza before, but normally it's when I'm on a diet and I wake up and I've eaten parts of my pillow.
For example, the last one, I can explain this. This one is with not with tomato pizza basis, but just rocket pesto, spice fresh ricotta. I use the cumin spice for make more tasting, and red capsicum. Which problem? Problem is the rocket is a little bitter.
Okay.
Tasting very bitter. It's not sweet or it's not good balance. I put a dressing is a sweet balsamic, red balsamic vinegar dressing with sugar. So it's very sweet. What do you make? I make good contrast to bitter to rocket and sweet to the balsamic vinegar dressing. It's perfect balance.
And how does that work with this beautiful glass of Pinot Grigio?
Oh yes, with Gris will be perfect. Gris is fantastic wine, very. I love Gris. Yeah, good balance for this pizza because it's not really aggressive. It's not too. For example, mushroom with the gorgonzola cheese is more important tasting. Very. We need wine with more acid for clean the mouth after pizza. Other one, margherita is the classic, the first one. Pizza is very traditional. It's very light pizza, absolutely light. And the most popular pizza at T'Gallant is salami.
Wow, Australians love their meat.
We have mozzarella alla pizza sauce, pecorino cheese, caramelized brown onion, mozzarella and salami. This is very, very strong pizza, tasting amazing. For this you need maybe one red wine, one red, Cape Shank red, Pinot Noir, yes, I think it was perfect balance.
The Cape Shank Pinot Noir.
Cape Shank Pinot Noir, yeah, absolutely. Yes, this is my opinion for this.
Tell me a little bit about growing up in Tuscany and how that's led you to where you are today.
Allora, Tuscany. Allora, I'm from Tuscany, from Lucca. My experience with pizza started in my restaurant because I had a restaurant in my city. After, my first experience 9 years in a restaurant with the star, Michelin star, red Michelin star. And after this experience, I opened my restaurant with food, with the classic Tuscany food, with very regional, with fish and pizza, because pizza is very popular. I started my passion for pizza. In Australia, it's not the same. Absolutely, it's not the same. It's not the same. About wine, so it's the new trade, the new fashion at the moment. In the last maybe 15 years, especially in Europe, wine is very popular and start balance for wine for every food. 10 years, 15 years ago, pizza was just with beer. Now, no more. It's wine. It's a lot of wine. It's a good match for pizza, but a lot red wine, more the white, and the sparkling. For example, for me, I have one board with right prosecco, and prosecco is perfect for this pizza because it's sparkling wine and clean, excellent the mouth after mushroom and gorgonzola pizza.
So, my idea of an ideal Friday night is pizza and wine. Why is that? Why is it that we want to come miles just to experience your pizza with this incredible wine?
So a lot of people they're crazy for Italian food, Italian tradition, Italian people. And at this place, at T'Gallant, is not just Italian chef, but Italian tradition. The menu is in Italian, not in English. This is important. And the food is very original Italian, with Italian recipe and with Italian ingredients. For example, we have the cheese plate, the cheese board, just with Italian imported cheese, no Australian cheese.
So there is nowhere else on the Mornington Peninsula that I can get authentic, beautiful Italian food to have with my wine, correct?
Correct.
So I've met the Vidi, I've seen the grapes.
Yeah.
Who are you?
My name's Jake. I am the cellar door supervisor here at T'Gallant, so I look after the cellar door and its operations. So.
You're an educator, really. You're the
That's
teacher?
Right. Teacher's not the right word.
Okay.
If we split wine into sort of three characters, we have the vineyard team, and they look after the vines. The winemaker, their job's to produce the wine, and then there's us in the cellar door, and our job's to educate the consumer, showcase the purpose of the wine, or why we taste, and what are the elements we have, and what the wine's significant for, and what can we drink it and eat it with, and. So.
Why do we taste? Like, where did that idea come from? Why don't we just buy the bottle and drink the bottle and be done with it?
Yeah, well, your palate might be different to mine, and I like wines that you might not like, and therefore, instead of just walking into a local supermarket, the best thing to do is come and experience what the wine is before you make your decision. So you're picking the wine you enjoy the most, and you're getting the wine that you're genuinely going to enjoy the day that you take it home and enjoy it with your friends at home. So
what have you learned? Like, what's changed? What's changed you, I suppose, in that time? Is the way you approach wine?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I look at alcohol as a dynamic now, as an additive, rather than potentially just as the effect. I think I like that wine adds value to food. I think I like the way, I love the way that it creates a social nature that engages people on multiple levels, and regardless of whether you like a certain varietal, say Pinot Grigio, and I like Sauvignon Blanc, it doesn't really matter, you know. At the end of the day, a social glass of wine unites people and connects people.
Yeah.
I love that about wine. And I like the way that it adds an extra element to food, you know. Wine, for instance, when Pinot, which is what the peninsula is famous for, they say the ultimate food pairing is duck, you know. So when you drink a glass of Pinot by itself, it's stunning. It's a beautiful glass of wine. When we pair it with foods that are going to complement it and make it even better, that's what I love.
So tasting notes and flavors and pairings is what you would talk to people about here.
Absolutely, yeah. So T'Gallant has quite a number of wines, and so typically the first question I ask you is, if you went out for a glass of wine, what would you drink?
Probably a Pinot Noir.
Okay, sure. So we look at reds. I'd offer you, if you'd like to start with maybe a sparkling and some whites, given that T'Gallant here is most famous for its whites, being the founder of Pinot Grigio in this country. I'd definitely ask you that first.
Why do we start with sparkling?
Sparkling is always a good palate cleanser. We want something fresh and zesty, something that's lightly spritzed, and that's going to give us a really good start to what our tasting would be. So.
And then why do we move to white, and then why do we move to red?
Yeah,
and then can we go back?
Absolutely, we can go back. Now, the challenge is the heavier we go, the harder it is to come back. You know, our mouth is just like any other muscle and it gets tired. And so we obviously want to start with the lightest possible wines and move all our way through to the heaviest. So heaviest and then finish on sweets.
My mouth is watering, so I suspect it's time we try this.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm going to get thirsty just looking at these bottles.
Absolutely.
So which one do I want to start with?
Well, let's start with Pinot Grigio.
Okay.
Something fresh and crisp. That's what we're looking at here today. It's a lovely hot day. Something that's really aromatic and light. Something that really cools us down and mellows us out.
Now, at this point, do I just, like, I've seen this on television, so
Yep.
does that mean that that's what I should do?
With whites, it doesn't really matter. With reds, absolutely. But whites, what we're talking about when we swirl the glass like that is simply that's come from a steel fermenter and gone straight into a bottle and being locked. So we're now introducing air back to it for the first time. So what we want to do is swirl it around, create oxidization starting to happen, start to open up some of the fruits in the wine and get a bit more flavour out of it.
And I'm supposed to smell it, correct?
Absolutely. So we have more than just one taste sense. So we look
That's
at,
true.
we have a look at our smell, what it looks like, the colour, the consistency.
Okay, it looks clear. It looks
Yes,
like wine and
that's
it
right.
smells like wine.
Exactly. We'll see how it tastes.
But you're right, it doesn't smell, I mean, I can smell wine.
Yeah, exactly. What you should be smelling is freshness. You know,
It
you
is,
should
that
be
smell
getting,
very fresh.
You know,
It smells like
summertime,
fresh
nice
summertime wine.
treetop canopies is what we look for in this case. Hold it in your mouth.
Okay, all right,
yeah,
sorry.
absolutely. So leave it in there. Don't just swallow it straight away. Hold it in there for a couple of seconds. Maybe swirl it around across the palate, or across your tongue. That way you're introducing the flavours across the entire tongue, and then we can swallow it.
Oh, that's infinitely better. That is beautiful.
Lovely.
It is very crisp.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess we should compare.
Yes.
Given T'Gallant's so famous for its whites, we should look at the Imogen Pinot Gris. So the first one we try up is Gris. It's our flagship Pinot Grigio, and that's grown here on the site.
Mm-hmm.
The alternative is our Imogen Pinot Gris. Now this, again, is our Pinot
So that's
Gris.
darker.
Yeah, well, very good pick.
Thank you.
So we're going to start to see here a little bit more character. We're going to see a little bit more fruit, and that comes back to that French or Alsatian style. And this, we want to smell much more fruit, much more floral natures.
It actually
And
does
instead
smell
of
like
in
it.
the Grace, which we see treetop canopies, in this case we're looking at forest floors. We're looking at all the things we might see on the forest floor grow. We could look at things like mushrooms, things like minerality. So, you know, we're looking for flavours that all come from the earth of the ground. So,
You can say that, like, I don't know that I smell mushroom, but
yeah, we would suggest you'd smell mushroom.
okay.
And maybe in the taste more you'd smell mushroom. So.
I know what you mean. It's
Yeah.
kind of mushroomy.
Yeah,
Which is
exactly.
perfect for the fondue pizza.
Exactly. Yeah, well done. Much bigger in flavour, much bigger in character,
And
that's
all
exactly
from
what we want.
the same grape.
All from exactly the same grape.
I must say, I do like what the French have done with the place.
Pinot Gris. Hey, bigger fan. There we go.
Yeah. You've been at T'Gallant for 2 years now, and you started with the dining experience, and now you're the cellar door supervisor.
That's right. Yeah.
So, what do you think? You know, I guess you would know firsthand what brings people to T'Gallant.
Yeah. T'Gallant's atmosphere is what is so attractive here on the Mornington Peninsula. It's easygoing. It's fun. It's exciting. It's, you know, the hive of entertainment. Great music, live music on the weekends. So we've got plenty of great gigs, or plenty of great musicians that come in and play on the weekends. It's just that beautiful environment outside. You know, the thing that makes T'Gallant so attractive is, you know, our outlook, you know, our tables outside, beautiful to go and sit out and have a glass of wine. And just our classic food and classic authentic Italian experience. You know, we have great food, great people, and great wine.
Thank you so much for joining me on Cellar Door. We've been at T'Gallant Estate. I've been Nicolette, and you've been a delight. Now, all that's left for you to do is to come here yourself and find out if you're like an Italian and love a Pinot Grigio, or perhaps you're a little bit like me, French persuasion with your Pinot Gris. Catch you next time.